Good morning, children. Today we are going to learn a new lesson. The name of the lesson is Quality. It's for Cbse 7th class students. What we are going to learn in this lesson is a summary of the story and a complete workout of the exercise part of the same story. Now let us move on to the summary. Come to the story. Gesla brothers and the art of boot making. The author had known the shoemaker for many years because he used to make boots for his father. So the author's relationship with the shoemaker Mr. Gesla is expressed here. The author's father used to buy shoes from this Gesla brothers shop. Look at the Mr. Gesla was the shoemaker who lived with his elder brother in their shop in London. Mr. Gesla was the shoemaker. We are going to learn his story. And he was living with his elder brother in their shop in London. The shop did not have any signs apart from the name of the Gesla brothers. This shop had any signboards or name board that they are selling shoes or something like that. Nothing is there except the name Gesla brothers. Look at the shop and the name Gesla brothers. This is the only sign they displayed in front of their little shop. He used to make boots only on orders. This is what he practiced all his life. He made shoes as per the order he got. Once the author asked Mr. Gesla if it was not awful to make those shoes perfectly fitting into the feet they were meant for. One day, the author, while conversing with this Gesla, asked how dreadful it was to make perfectly fitting shoes for the people. Then the man answered with a heavy German accent that it is an art. So whenever Gesla speaks, he speaks with a German accent because he was not a British man. He was from Germany. And whenever he speaks with people, his German accent will affect his words. Come to the next. Mr. Gesla will be absorbed in his bootmaking art most of the time and won't talk much with his customers. This man had certain special characteristics. When he started making shoes, he did not speak with anybody. He completely absorbed in his work. He strongly admired every piece of material he used to work with, and he had a special admiration for the material he used for making these shoes. The boots made by Gesla brothers were of supreme quality and lasted very long. These two things are very important with Mr. Gesla. He made only supreme quality boots and they would last for a long time. But in one occasion, the author had a different experience. It would happen with anybody. Once or twice, their quality may dip. And in such an occasion, the author complained about one of the pairs he made. He complained about it to Mr. Gesla. To this, the old man promised that he would repair the shoe, and if could not, he would return the money to the author. When the author complained Mr. Gesla about one of the pairs that he had made was not suitable for him, Mr. Gesla promised him that he would repair the shoes or he would return the money. That was his commitment to his work. Come to the next paragraph. Gesla's grief and the hard times in his life. On one occasion, while placing an order for a shoe, the author was a bit absent-minded. The author used to visit his shop several times, and in one occasion, he was a little bit absent-minded. He visited there. He was wearing a pair of boots bought in an emergency from a large shop. The author always maintained the personal relationship with this Gesla. That's why he says he went there absent-mindedly wearing a pair of shoes that he bought from a large shop in an emergency. Mr. Gesla looked carefully and pressed at a point where the left boot was not comfortable. So Mr. Gesla immediately noticed it, and he pointed the fault in the shoes. And he said that the left boot was not comfortable at a particular point. With a sad face, he commented that it hurts the customers. He realized that it was really hurting the bearers, the customers. But still, the big firms don't have any self-respect. But these big firms, big shops had no self-respect at all. Whatever happened with the customers, they never mind it. So he said they had no self-respect. They lure customers. Lure means they attract or they trap, or you can say that they tempt. They tempted the customers with their advertisement and not with their work. That was his main complaint. The big shops, the big firms, they lured, they tempted their customers not with a good quality product but through advertisements. Because of this, Mr. Gesla was losing business, and he realized that because of these big firms that coming every corner of London street, he had been losing his business gradually. The author has heard such things for the first time from Mr. Gesla. This was first time the author was hearing from this old man words like this, complaining about somebody else, and felt bad and sorry and ordered many pairs of boots instantly. And he immediately felt bad and sorry for this old man. Because of that feeling, he ordered for so many pairs of shoes, even though he did not need them at present. He ordered for so many pairs of boots. Look at the picture. He was giving order for a lot of boots. After several months, he went to their shop again. Then after several months, he once again went to the shop. But this time, he mistook Mr. Gesla for his elder brother. He met Mr. Gesla there, but he mistook Mr. Gesla for his elder brother. After a while, he realized his mistake and learned that the elder brother had passed away. Passed away means died. But he realized that it was not Mr. Gesler's elder brother, it was Mr. Gesla himself. Also, he learned that his elder brother had passed away a few months back. He again ordered many pairs of shoes and soon after that he left for abroad. Abroad means foreign country. Again, the author ordered or placed a big order for a number of shoes and after that he left to abroad. After returning, he went to his favorite boot shop again. When he came back to London, he visited his favorite shop there. This time Mr. Gesla looked more aged than that of the last meeting between them. So this time, even though it was not a long period, this Gesla looked so old. Only an year had passed, but from his face it seemed as though he had covered a journey of a decade. But the change in the face of Mr. Gesla, it seemed a period of around a decade, 10 years of age that increased in Mr. Gesla. At least in his look, he became so older than before. The artist end but with a bitter truth. Mr. Gesla failed to recognize the author. The author, as usual, placed his orders and this time the boots were better than ever. The next time when he visited the shop, Gesla could not recognize the author. He became so old. Yet, he made the best quality boots for the author. We can call it as his masterpiece boots. The author one evening went personally to thank Mr. Gesla for such a splendid work. That boot he ordered and went away. And Mr. Gesla sent them by post or courier. So when he got it, he was really amazed to see the perfection of that boot. He wanted to thank Mr. Gesla. So he went to the shop again. But the nameplate was missing from the shop. When he came there, he saw another name board that says something else. Missing from the shop, he found an Englishman inside. He saw a British man, an Englishman inside the shop. The man informed him that Mr. Gesla had passed away and they had taken up the shop. And the Englishman told the author that the previous owner of the shop, Mr. Gesla, he had passed away. Passed away means died. That he had taken up the shop. Now the shop was taken up by this Englishman. The man further added that Mr. Gesla died of starvation. He further added that the old shoemaker, Mr. Gesla, he was died of starvation, hungry. He couldn't have anything to eat, so he died. The man used to make all the boots himself. He never allowed anyone else to touch them. A Grssler brothers, they used to make the shoes by themselves. They never allowed anyone to touch or repair the shoes. They used the finest quality leather and worked hard day and night to complete the orders in time. They were very punctual. Whatever order they took to complete it, to finish the work and give the product to the customers, he worked day and night. He made the best boots in London with the finest leather, yet he lost it to competition. He used to make the best quality boots in London using the finer quality leather, yet he lost to compete with the new gen boot shops there. Everything that he earned went on paying rent for the shop and on buying leathers. So whatever money that he got, he spent on rent and for buying the raw materials like good quality leather and all the other equipments for making the boots. He skipped his meals, working for hours for each pair of boots. Many a time he skipped his meals. He didn't take his meals on time. Sometimes he never took it. He completely absorbed in his art of shoe making. So he lost his life a little bit earlier than expected. Now let us come to the question answer. What was the author's opinion about Mr. Gesla as a bootmaker? The author says that he was an excellent shoemaker. He used only super quality leather for making his shoes, and his shoes are superior quality and they last for a long time. Second question, why did the author visit the shop so frequently? The relationship between Mr. Grssler and the author started from the author's father. His father used to visit the shop and purchase shoes. He followed the suit. And that personal relationship that his father had started, he continued. That's why he frequently visited. Also, he got good quality and lasting boots from the shop. Third question, what was the effect on Mr. Gesla of the author's remark about a certain pair of boots? When he complained about a certain pair of boots, the man looked so sad, and he promised to repair the shoes. Otherwise, he was ready to return the money. Question number 4. What was Mr. Gessla's complaint against big firms? Mr. Gesla complained that these big firms had no self-respect. They lure customers by giving big advertisements. They never thought about the welfare of their customers. They did not give any importance to work, only for benefit. Question number 5. Why did the author order so many pairs of boots? Did he really need them? Actually, he did not need that much pair of shoes. But when he heard the sad story of this man, he ordered for a number of pairs of shoes with the Gesla. Look at this. Study the following phrases and their meanings. Use them appropriately to complete the sentences that follow. Look after means take care of. Look down on, which means disapprove or regard as inferior. Looking down upon. Look in means make a short visit. Look into, investigate. Look out, be careful. Look up, improve. look up to, admire. So these phrases you have to use in these sentences. Look at that. After a very long spell of heat, the weather is dash at last. So we have to get to improve. The weather is looked up at last. Second question. We have no right to dash people who do small jobs. Look inferior. What does it mean? Look down on. So we have no right to look down on. Down on. Third question. Nitin has always dash his uncle who is a self-made man. Nitin has always he admire his uncle because his uncle is a self-made man. What is admire here mean? Look upon. Nitin has always looked up on. As it is has is used here, we have to use the past perfect form. Looked. Fourth question. The police are dash the matter thoroughly. What the police do? Investigate. Let us check. Look into. So the police are looking into the matter thoroughly. So are is the auxiliary verb. After that we have to use the ing form. So looking into. Question number 5. If you want to go out, I will dash the children for you. If you want to go out, I will dash. I will take care. What is the word here? Take care of. Look at it. Look after. If you want to go out, I will look after the children for you. Sixth question. I promise to dash on your brother when I visit Lucknow next. I promise to make a short visit. That is look in. I promise to look in. Whenever the to form comes, use the root verb always. With some exemptions. Mostly we have to use this root verb only. I promise to look in. Look in means for a short visit. Then sixth question. Dash when you are crossing the main road. That is, we must be very careful. What is careful is look out. So the sentence here is look out when you are crossing the main road. Look out here means careful while you are crossing the main road. Next, read the following sets of words loudly and clearly. Coat, coat, same pronunciation. Cost, cost. Toast, toast. Got, got. Rot, rot. Blot, blot. Not, not. Now let us check its meaning. Cot means bed. Cot means a fur coat. Cost means price of a thing. Coast means beach or shore. Tossed means pitched. That is tossing. Toast means grilled bread, or tossed also thrown. Tossing the coin, that is tossed. Then got and got. Got means became. He got, past tense of get. And got is an animal. Rot and rot. Rot means decay, rotting. And rot means memorization or repetition of things. Rot learning. Rot learning. Blot and blot. Blot means to spot. Spot a stain in our shirt. Blot means a swelling or inflate. Swell or inflate. a swelling in our hand, etc. We can say. Knot and knot. K-N-O-T, knot means tie. N-O-T, knot means communication or a memo or the note that we write in our class. Note also means bump. K-N-O-T, note, a bump, note. Now come to the next question. Each of the following words contains the sound sh, as in shine, in the beginning or in the middle or at the end. First speak out all the words clearly. Then arrange the words in 3 groups in the table on page 80. Look at that. Sheep, anxious, portion, shoe. Trash, shriek, ashes, pushing. Marsh, shore, sure, polish. Fashion, fish, nation, mustache. So let us check initial position sh sound. This is initial sheep. You can write here sheep. Then anxious, shies, sh, sia. So middle, anxious. Then portion, sha, sh is in the middle, portion. Then shoe, sha, that is in the initial position. Then trash, that is final position, sh, trash. Shriek, initial position, shriek. Ashes, a, sh, s, middle position. So medial position you can say. Pushing, sh is in the middle position, medial position. Then marsh, final position. Shore, initial position. Sure, initial position. Polish, final position. Fashion, middle position. Fish, final position. Notion, middle position. Mustache, sh, final position. Now look at the next one. In each of the following words, ch represents the same consonant sound as in chair. The words on the left have this sound initially. Those on the right have it finally. Speak each word clearly. Choose, child, cheese, chair, charming. Bench, march, peach, rush, research. Under the letters representing this sound in each of the following words: feature, archery, picture, reaching, nature, matches, riches, batch, church. So choose sound, feature, ch, picture. So mark that all sounds. Then speaking skills. Do you think Mr. Gesla was a failure as a bootmaker or as a competitive businessman? As a bootmaker, he was not a failure. He was an excellent bootmaker. For him, shoemaking was an art. But as a businessman, he was a failure. That's why he couldn't even get money to eat his or to fill his stomach. He was a devoted worker and he wanted to produce the best quality and he produced them. Yet he couldn't establish his business there. Second question. What is the significance of the title? To whom or to what does it refer? Quality. Yes, it is a very significant title because the two shoemakers, the Gesla brothers, they wanted to produce the best quality shoes in London, and they did. They never meant for the profit. For them, shoes or shoes making is an art, and they devoted for it. They don't even take a full meal to keep the quality and the standard of the shoes they make. That like that you can write. Now come to the next question. Notice the way Mr. Gesla speaks English. His English is influenced by his mother tongue. He speaks English with an accent. So German accent when he speaks English. When you read the story, you can find that in several places. When Mr. Gesla speaks p-t-k, sounds like b-d-g. Can you say these words as Mr. Gesla say them? That you can practice. Come to the next question. Speak to 5 adults in your neighborhood. Ask them the following questions in any language they are comfortable in or comfortable with. Then come back and share your findings with the class. This is an assignment question. You have to ask at least 5 neighborhood people with these questions. You have to approach them with these questions. Do they buy their provisions packed in plastic packets at a big store or loose from a smaller store near their house? What they do, what is their practice, you have to understand. Whether they buy things from a big shop in plastic packed items or they buy from their nearby shop in loose. 5 people's answer you have to record. Second, where do they buy their footwear? Do they buy branded footwear or footwear made locally? What reason do they have for their preference? This question also you can ask. Whether they go for branded footwears or they buy locally made footwears. And what is the reason behind it for branded and local made boots? Third question. Do they buy ready-made clothes or buy cloth and get their clothes stitched by a tailor? Which do they think is better? You ask this question also. Whether these people have the habit of buying ready-made shirts or pants or chudidars, whatever it is. And ask them whether they used to buy plain clothes and make it stitched by a tailor, and the reason behind it. Both you have to mention. Question number 5. Look at the picture. I have decided to go abroad for higher studies. Have you? I don't think I will ever do that. I love my country. This is Anisha and this is Ajit. They are speaking their desires to go abroad and another don't want to go abroad. Let pairs of students talk to each other about leaving the country. One student repeats Ajit's statement, the other gives a reason for not agreeing with Ajit. This is the conversation you have to make. The sentences openings given below should be used. These opening sentences that you can use for the conversation skill. If I leave this country, I will miss my parents, my siblings and my friends. All those things you can write. There are some things which you can get only here. For example, the food, the nature, the friendship, all those things you can mention there. There are some special days I will miss, particularly festival days, celebration days, and some functions in our own homes. All those are missing things with us. Most of all, I will miss. What you are going to miss most of all? And because you are going to miss your home, your parents, all those things, and your mother tongue also. I think it is impossible for me to leave my country because I can't leave all the comfort of my life in home. Like that you can say. How can you leave your own country except when? How can you leave your own country except when some job you get outside your country or something like that you can write. Then depends on one's intention. I can't live for good because. So many people leave their country with several intentions. I can't live for good because I love my country better than any other countries in the world, and I want to live with my relatives, friends, and in my village. Like that you can write. Maybe for a couple of years. I'm going out or visiting a foreign country or going out for study only for a few years. That will help me to know about the culture, the life, and the language, and the prosperity or whatever it is there. I can understand. It will be a experience for me. Like that also you can. Now writing experience. Based on the following points, write a story. Your aunt has gone to her mother's house. Okay. Your uncle does his cooking. He is absent-minded. He puts vegetables on the stove. He begins to clean his bicycle outside. The neighbors call out saying something is burning. Your uncle rushes to the kitchen to save vegetables. He puts some oil on them. Unfortunately, it is machine oil, not cooking oil. What do you think happens to the vegetables? Begin like this. So you are asked to write a funny story like this. Last month, my aunt decided to visit her parents' house, and my uncle was alone there, and he was directed to prepare his own food, and he is an absent-minded personality. When the aunt went away, the uncle cut or chopped some vegetables and put them into the stove. After that, he forgot it. He went out and he started washing his machine. Time passed. And it was at this time the neighbors, they smelled something burning from the house. They asked him. He left the half-washed machine there and rushed to the kitchen. When he came there, he saw the kitchen was filled with smoke, a black smoke. Immediately, he realized. He rushed for oil. He took a bottle and poured into it. And when he poured it, then only he realized that it was not the cooking oil, it was the machine oil that spoiled the entire vegetables. What he wanted to do for saving the vegetables, it turned out the opposite of it. Then finally he had to go out and have his food from outside. So like that you can write this story. So children, this is quality. You read the textbook very clearly and make understand each and every line, and write down the exercise session in your notebook and do the assignments. Also write the conversation, the story at the end. I expect you will do it perfectly. Goodbye.